just by looking at vacancy, late fees, you can start to draw a picture about this property. All right? So again, which teams pick number 1? Okay, which teams pick number 2? Which teams have no idea at all? Thank you. Okay, just hang in there. That's great. I'm glad you're here. Okay, now we're going to go on to expenses. Again, you're going to look at the expenses, decide between you and your partner which property of the 2 you would pursue. It's the same property, 10-unit apartment building and a 12-unit apartment building. Please put up the expense side. Begin finishing up and stop. All right, based on expenses, which teams chose property number 1? Ooh, interesting, interesting. Which teams chose property number 2? Wow, okay. Electricity. What might that indicate? I heard it over here. It's called master metered. What master metered, it may, you have to check it out, but what master metered means is who pays all the electricity? The owner or the landlord. The owner or the landlord pays all the electricity. The tenants do not pay the electricity. Okay? Now, how might that be an opportunity? How would you change it? Make them pay for it. You can do that. You can actually divide it up so the tenants pay. There are companies. You don't actually even have to put meters on every unit. There are companies that will come and divide it up for you. Now, you got to find out if that's doable. Maybe in that neighborhood that won't fly, but maybe it will. So master meter property could be a big opportunity. Okay? You got to weigh it out. How many people think the manager in property number 1 is making way too much money? How many people think the manager in property number 2 is not making enough money? Okay. Property number 2 has a high vacancy rate, not great tenants. Maybe you're getting what you paid for. Pay your managers well if they're doing a good job. It will increase the value of the property, make your life so much easier. And again, you've got to find out what is acceptable and look for good property managers. Okay. So, you can see which way this is going. All right, we're talking about painting and carpet cleaning. What do those numbers indicate? Turnover. Your greatest expense is what? Turnover. So property number 1, they're doing a lot of cleaning on their units. That means they're having a high turnover. So even though there's a 30% vacancy, there's actually even turnover on top of it. So that's definitely a problem property. Can you fix the problem? We'll see. Okay. Okay, so again, are you starting to see how the numbers start to tell a story? Okay, and these are just some simple numbers. There is a program that we developed called 6 Steps to Becoming a Successful Real Estate Investor. If anybody's interested, we go a lot more into the in-depth analysis on how to analyze a property, due diligence checklists, everything that you need to look at when deciding whether to purchase a property or not. There's actually a spreadsheet that you can plug in your numbers to and figure out your cash flow, your return on investment, all of that. So 6 steps to becoming a successful real estate investor. Quick little commercial plug. Okay, now, property number 1, who's still interested? Okay, property number 2, who's interested? Who has no clue? All right, hang in there. We're going to go now to the debt section, the financing section. So I'm going to give you about a minute to look it over and decide, do I want to go after property number 1 or property number 2? If you would put up that slide. Ready, go. Begin finishing up. And stop. Which team has that winning feeling? Right. All right. You got that winning feeling if you're watching on video? I hope so. All right. Property number 1. Who says yes? Okay, you're liking it. Property number 2. Who wants that? Woo-hoo-hoo. Got a lot of property number 2. Who still has no idea? Okay, property number 2, new financing, 20% down payment, loan of 5.5% interest, pretty straightforward, pretty nice financing, right? Okay. Property number 1, they're asking for 30% down, so you're going to have to come up with a little more money, and it's an assumable loan at 9% interest. What does assumable mean? Very little qualifying, if any, and you basically take over the loan on the property. Now, a 9% interest rate, especially today, is pretty high, right? Yes. Not very attractive. Do all assumable loans have to be assumed? No. What if you got new financing? 5% interest, 5.5% interest? That would make the value of your property do what? Go up. Make your cash flow go what? Go up. Great. So again, you've got to look at it. There's sometimes penalties. I'll tell you a quick story. Sometimes if you have an assumable loan, the seller will be penalized if they have to pay off that loan early. So we were looking at a property. It actually had a penalty for the seller to pay off their property of $1 million. $1 million it was going to cost him. And so we're like, well, so everybody walked away from the deal. They all walked away from it. And what happened is we went in and we got our loan that we needed at 6%. And then we looked at this other loan and we're like, I'll tell you what, we'll take it over. You loan us some money. We won't pay it off, but you loan us at 0% interest. So you're not going to have to pay the $1 million, but you're going to loan us the money at 0%. Does that make sense? Okay, so we've got the 9% assumable, and he's loaning us a second at 0%. So our blended rate was about 6.5%. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's always ways to be creative to do these deals. There's always ways. Everything is negotiable. And what I'm finding now more and more is a lot of the answers are in the details. So for example, another property we looked at, it had an assumable loan on it, and the loan was going to be, it was at like 9.5%, but it was going to go through the year 2012. So it made the property very unattractive. It didn't cash flow because it was such a high interest rate, big debt. So as we're reading through the fine print, my partner points out, he's looking and he's making phone calls, and he found out there was a typo on the pro forma. You got to do your details. You got to do your research. When he went back and looked over the loan documents, he found out we could pay off that loan in 6 months and not assume that rate. So, of course, we extended the closing for 6 months, then put new financing on it, and the property makes perfect sense now. Make sense? Okay. So sometimes it's in the details. All right, so we've got income. We've got expenses. We've got debt. Where's that winning team? Where's the winning team? Okay, let me see those dollar bills. At home, put up your dollar bills, all right? Okay, which team chose property number 1 as the one they're going to pursue? Great. 1? Okay, who chose property number 2? Okay, and the answer is... it depends. It depends. All of the questions that come up, the next step then is you've got to do your homework. You've got to find out, separate the fact from the fiction. Can you fix the problems? Does it make sense? It's all part of the numbers tell the story. Okay, so you can all keep your dollar bills. You guys played well. There is no correct answer. There's no right answer when it comes to real estate investing. What works for one person may not work for another person. But you've got to find the properties that are going to work for you, that you can fix, that you can make the best return on your money from, and that eventually, through investing, you become financially free. And then you do whatever it is in your heart, whatever your dreams are, whatever it is you truly want to do with your life. That's what this is about. So thank you very much, and I wish you investing success beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you. So I trust you now understand a little bit more on how to find a good deal versus a bad deal. But before we go, I just have 2 more points I'd like to make. First of all, I really recommend our premier product called Cash Flow Board Game. And the reason being is this is how Robert and I truly got out of the rat race and became financially independent. And on this board game, you will actually be analyzing deals. You'll quickly be making financial decisions around real estate, such as here you have a property that's giving you cash flow, and all of a sudden you get this great price for it. Should I sell it, take the capital gains, or do I hold on to it and keep the cash flow? So it's actually very real life. And what we found is people that write to us and give us their success stories, people that are out there actively investing, building their portfolios, becoming financially free, 80 to 90% of them are playing the cash flow game on a regular basis. So there's something about this game that really gets people to take action. So I highly recommend you purchase this game or go online and find a cash flow club where people are playing the game in cities throughout the world. And the second point I want to make is just, again, to highlight why I love real estate over, for example, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And it's very simple. If you remember from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and so many of the Rich Dad products, we talk about the income statement, which is income and expenses, and the balance sheet, which is assets and liabilities. Now, the beauty with real estate is there are so many ways to make money, and you can make money in every one of these quadrants. So in stocks, you might get appreciation. You buy low, you sell high. In some stocks, you might even get a little bit of a dividend or cash flow. But the beauty of real estate is this. There's 4 incomes that you're actually getting. Number 1, you're getting cash flow. Hopefully, you're getting positive cash flow. That goes in your income. Then you're also getting depreciation, which comes into your expense column. If the property is appreciating, then you get appreciation, and you have a loan that you're paying off over time, so you also get the beauty of amortization. So you get cash flow, you get depreciation, you get appreciation and amortization. And that's one of the real true reasons why I love real estate. So those are my 2 extra points. Thank you so much for watching. I trust you got great value from this program. And until next time, I wish you investing success beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you.